Hello, power users! Zbigniew Lukowski here, and today we will be talking about some basics. This is the if function in PowerApps, our Canvas apps. We'll be talking about how this if function is constructed, and we will create some basic examples of implementation of the if function. So let's get ourselves going and to the topic. So basically, I've created the text inputs, buttons, and results in form of in three examples. First example I've already created to see to show you how the basic if function is implemented. So how it's working. If the text input number is below 50, then the result is blue. If it's above 50, then the result is green. How to achieve this kind of functionality? Let's go to the button. And in the button, we will go to the on select, because this is what the button will give us when we select it. Let's cancel this. So basic construction of the if function is condition. So we check what's the condition. In here you can see highlighted text input 1. We see that this condition text and value of this text, because the text itself will be in the text format, right, is higher than 0. Then we created the context variable, which is only for this screen. We create this in this place. There is no other reference of this variable here. We'll change to green. And here is the else part of our formula, where we just check what should happen if this function condition, so this, is not met. Because if we once meet this condition by pressing the button, then the result will always be green, because there will be no change for this result. So we want to change it dynamically and evaluate each time the text input 1. In our prompt, you can see the construction of our if function. We have the condition, we are evaluating this condition each time, and the true value. If the true value, then do this. Change the local result color to green. And why it is changing? Because in the result few, which is the color function of this triangle, we just set this context variable. So basically this is the basic if function schema. This is the optional part. Okay, so we know already our basic function, but we want to go, let's say, further. So we want to have if function with two conditions. Let's just copy this one. Okay, so now we have the copy of the first function, and we want to change and create the condition for the green color. So I will now create a first example. Let's copy this, paste, put a comma. Sorry, let's add the value. Great. And we want to check if the color, if the value in the text input 2 this time, because we'll be using the text input 2. The text input 1 and 1. I've just copied those. So we want to check if those values are over 50. We need to change also the variable. lock result to color, lock result to color here, lock result to color here, and we have already the triangle here. It's white, but we want to check it to lock result color 2. It's black now because it's null, and this is the basic null color in PowerApps. Okay, so what you think should happen now? Let's change it to red. Red. What do you think should happen now? We have condition 1, result 1, condition 2, result 2, and of course the default value, if no condition is met, the blue. What color the result will be? Green, red, or blue? I will give you a moment to think about this for yourself. Do you think if we put 51 here, the result will be green, red, or blue? Okay, so this won't work. The result will be green. So now we already learn ourselves the first and really important lesson about if function. The first logical test and the value, if it will produce the result, so if this condition is met for the green, then everything after the comma will be just ignored. This won't even happen. The code won't run. The code will end in this part, and this will be ignored. So basically, we can do two things. We can either create and move the value to be below 50. Okay, hop. And below 50. Below and equal, because we at 50 we want roll. Let's do this also. Okay, great. Yeah, so now it will work. It will be red, but this is a little bit mess, because what we really want to do is we want to first check if the color is above 50, so it will be using red. Hop. Then we want to check if the color will be above 0, and then green. Red. For 9 it will be green. Yeah, it's working. Red. And now green. So in order to avoid unnecessary end functions, we will be just staging this if function from the highest result to the lowest, because if it's above 50, then go red, then green if it's below, and then blue if it's 0, for example. The 0 will produce the blue. Great. Okay, so this was our second result. Okay, and now for the last example, we will be copying the second one. And as you remember, I've already told you that the last part, the last else value, is basically the default result. But what if this part is missing? So let's cut it. Let's create the context variable with 3. Hop. Let's change the text input to the last one, this highlighted. So if I go to here and change color from white to log result free color, it's black, right? What happened if I run the function? See, the function is running. It doesn't change the color, because if the default, if the else value is missing, then if the if function after all the condition checks should go to the else result, it will blank this result. This means that the else value result will always be blank, right? So let's check also if this function is working. Yeah, it's green. If I go now to 0, nothing happened because the result is blank. So there was no local variable, context variable change. It means that it stayed within its last value. And that's the first lesson about the if function. You basically shouldn't be creating a large clusters of nested if. So these conditions, like in the second example, when you have the green, red, and blue, if the number of condition is higher, then you should always use switch function. Switch, which I will be talking about later, so you can check my other videos. The switch basically will evaluate the value in the text input, and then after each condition it will arrange the value to the proper color. So you can have, like, if value in text input is higher than 1, then go green. If higher than 50, then go red. If higher than 100, go orange, etc., etc. If you do it with nested ifs, you will write a lot of unnecessary code with complex logic, which will be slower than the switch function. So always use switch when it's possible, but of course not always it is, because switch could evaluate only on the one condition. So only on, let's say, text input, one text value. But if we should compare and have multiple prerequisites for creating the color on the results, then you should use the nested if. So, for example, if value in here is 50, then go red. But if value in here is 50 and value in here is 100, then go orange. It will be possible in the nested if, but it won't be possible in the switch function. So always be careful about this. The switch function can be only evaluated on one particular field or value or a variable, etc. So this is it for this lesson. I hope this was informative and you learned something new. If yes, you can click subscribe, like, etc., and check my other videos. I have a lot of Power Platform content there, and I was starting from the beginning, so I can explain those topics for you in a simple manner. Okay, so Zbigniew Lukowski out, and see you later.